Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Black-Liberation.Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Renee Jordan, and today we are going to pick up where we left off with the Ag STEM Career Discovery Lab with Janaya GPT. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, let's take a look at step number 6. Visualize the role. Career titles can sometimes feel abstract and distant. This step encourages you to use AI to bridge that gap by generating a visual representation of your chosen Ag STEM career, making the role more tangible and sparking deeper reflection. Prompt Janaya GPT to create an image. Okay, so here's the prompt. Janaya, create a detailed image that represents someone working in the field of insert chosen Ag STEM career, include what they are doing, the tools they use, and their work environment. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. In efforts to help make sure that the students in this workshop who will most likely be using free accounts with OpenAI, or they might not have an account and they might be engaging it as I am on this screen where it says, hey, please sign in so that you can get a better experience. I prepared some images using this prompt based on a few recommended careers. And so I'm going to go in the order that I processed them so that you can see what happened along the way. Also hear what happened along the way in terms of how they look. I'll just put it like that. Let's take a look. So this first one, drone operations specialist, agricultural component, using drone technology to collect data, monitor crops, and support smart farming decisions. What they do, plan drone flights, collect aerial data, monitor crop health, analyze images, and provide insights for better decisions. Data in action. Aerial data helps detect stress, pests, and nutrients issues early, saving time, resources, and increasing yields. Then we have a note that says drone operations specialists bridge technology and agriculture to help grow a healthier, more sustainable future. And then tools they use, drones, multi-rotator, okay, remote controller, tablet, flight planning app, GPS, NDVI, and mapping software, batteries and charging station, and then we have safety gear. Okay, and so the caption to this image says, an agricultural drone operations specialist stands in a field using a tablet while a drone flies overhead collecting crop data. Nearby equipment includes a remote controller, laptop with mapping software, aerial imagery, and field monitoring tools. Educational graphics explain how drones help farmers analyze crop health, identify issues early, and support sustainable agricultural practices through data-driven decision-making. Okay, so this is the image I got, and you notice the caption. Keep that in mind. Let's go to the next one. So the next one that I generated was this one here. Architecture, residential design using Fusion 360. Architects use creativity, math, science, and technology to design safe, beautiful, and sustainable homes where people live. What they do, create 2D floor plans, build 3D models, test ideas and materials, check structure, space, light, and energy, make homes more sustainable and efficient, present designs to clients and teams. Okay, technology in action. Fusion 360 helps architects design, visualize, and test homes in 3D before they are built. And then you have the schematics there. Next, career paths. We have architect, residential designer, BIM modeler, sustainable design specialist, project manager, and urban planner. Okay, architects turn ideas into spaces that improves lives and build stronger communities. This is for those who are creative, curious problem solvers. Architects design the future one home at a time. That's the note along the bottom. Okay, where they work: architecture firms, design studios, construction companies, government agencies. They also could be freelance or entrepreneurs. Tools they use. So we have Fusion 360, 3D CAD software, computer and dual monitors, digital drawing tablet and stylus, architectural scale ruler, sketchbook, measuring tape, 3D printer for models, laser distance measurer, materials, and sample boards. Okay, so there's this picture. Now, what I noticed was that in both images, the ladies' hair styles were similar. And one was, in terms of color gradient, they seem to be not exact, but potentially close in their skin tone. And as a result, I updated my prompt so that I gave more detail about the hair and the skin tone. So let's take a look. That information will be revealed in the caption. So this next position or next career, product design, 3D printing, turning ideas into real world solutions. Product designers use creativity, engineering, and technology to design products that are useful, beautiful, safe, and made for real people. What they do: research user needs, sketch ideas, create 3D models, 3D print prototypes, test for fit, function, and quality, improve and refine designs, prepare for manufacturing. Technology in action. 3D printing allows product designers to quickly build prototypes, test ideas, reduce waste, and bring innovative products to life faster. Career paths: you have a product designer, industrial designer, 3D printing specialist, prototyping engineer, design engineer, innovation consultant. All right, next we have a little note that says great product designers combine imagination, problem solving, and technology to create products that make a difference. And the keywords along the bottom say design bold, build smart, print the future. Your ideas can change the world. Where they work: they work at design studios, innovation labs, manufacturing companies, startups, and they also can be freelance or entrepreneurs. Okay, tools they use. So they also use 3D CAD software, Fusion 360, SolidWorks, digital drawing tablet and stylus, 3D printers, filament and materials, calipers and measuring tools, prototyping tools, sketchbooks, computer and dual monitors. Okay, now let's take a look at this caption. A Black woman with dark skin and a natural 4C afro featuring purple highlights works in a product design and 3D printing studio. She carefully examines a purple prototype while digital design software displays a 3D model on a computer screen. Nearby are design sketches, measuring tools, notebooks, 3D printers, printed prototypes, and engineering materials. Educational panels explain the design process, workplace technologies, and career opportunities connected to product design, innovation, prototyping, and manufacturing. The image highlights the combination of creativity, engineering, and technology used to transform ideas into real world solutions. So, with this caption, it gives a description of what's happening, but I wanted to point out that a part of what I included in my prompt shows up in the actual caption, which was also generated by Janaya GPT. And so I thought that was interesting. And I also wanted to point it out because if you find that the images you're getting, whether it's with Janaya or Chat GPT or any other platform, if they're not quite meeting what you want, you can be more specific in order to get closer. And in order to do that, I used words that were familiar to me specifically about hair and skin tone, in order to get a image that was different from the last two images. Now, I also do the same for this next one. So this last one, we have urban agriculture manager, cultivating food, building community, creating a sustainable future. Urban agriculture managers lead the planning, growing, and operation of farms and gardens in cities. They use science, business, and creativity to grow healthy food, strengthen communities, and protect the environment. What they do. They plan and manage urban farms and community gardens, monitor crop growth and plant health, manage budgets, staff, and volunteers, ensure sustainability and food safety, educate and empower the community, partner with organizations and local governments. Technology in action. Technology helps urban agriculture managers make smart decisions, save resources, and increase yields. All right, career paths. Urban agriculture manager, community garden coordinator, food production specialist, sustainability consultant, environmental educator, or agri entrepreneur. Okay, now the note along the bottom says lead, cultivate, inspire. Your work feeds communities and builds a better future. Where they work, urban farms, community gardens, schools, food businesses, nonprofit organizations, and local governments. Tools they use: soil and water testing, environmental sensors, irrigation systems, farm management software, crop planning, gardening tools, data collection and analysis, and community networks. Okay, now let's take a look at this particular caption. All right, so this caption says, an urban agriculture manager sits in a thriving rooftop garden in an urban environment. She is an African American woman with rufous albinism and long waist length locks styled with yellow yarn woven into barrel shaped knots at the ends. While reviewing crop data on a tablet and taking notes in a planning notebook, she manages food growing operations that support local communities. Around her are raised garden beds, environmental monitoring equipment, irrigation tools, and technology used to support sustainable food production. Education panels explain how urban agriculture managers use science, technology, environmental stewardship, business skills, and community partnerships to increase access to healthy food and strengthen neighborhoods. So, once again, I use words that were familiar to me as it related to skin tone and hair in order to get a image that was different from the first two images that I received. So the details you provide in your prompt make a difference in what you see in your output. Reflection on the visualization. Okay. After reviewing the image generated by Janaya GPT, consider these questions to deepen your understanding and personal connection to the role. What surprised you most about this career as depicted in the image? Did the image match your initial expectations for this role? Why or why not? Who was represented in the image? And what activities were they doing? Who might be missing from this representation? And what does that tell you? Now I'm going to leave you to think about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push pause here and we'll come back next week and pick up where we left off. With all of that being said, thank you for listening to another episode of the Black-Liberation.Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Renee Jordan. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and share, rate, and review the podcast to help it become more discoverable. And until next time, take care. Bye-bye.